We can bump normal, see what normal looks like. My normal, your normal. You always smile when I say that.
I
And
will
that's what
forever be
it
the
is.
12-year-old
Dating,
boy who hears
dating
bump
is
normals
bumping normals.
and Snickers. That is hilarious. All right, you got to tell me and the people out there, what is bumping normals?
Bumping normals. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Welcome to the Upfront Podcast, where healing meets real talk on Black love. We're diving into why so many driven, self-aware singles are still searching for the one. From dating apps to deep therapy, emotional blocks to generational wisdom, we're bringing it all up front. You'll hear from psychologists, married couples, divorcees, influencers, all with no filters. If you're ready to heal first so you can love forever, this is your space. Let's get up front. All right, folks, we are back for another episode of the Upfront Podcast. I'm your host, John Graham, founder and CEO of Upfront Marital Technologies, and I have by far one of the most prolific and exciting tastemakers out here in these streets, specifically in Philadelphia. Today's guest is what I call the plug's plug, but she's your go-to plug for what's popping in Philly. From food, sports, and festivals to curated vibes you don't even know you needed to be at. She's a Philadelphia-based lifestyle and food enthusiast who's built a trusted following by spotlighting the city's best events, curators, creators, and businesses. If you've ever discovered a dope new spot in Philly, chances are it's thanks to her and her social media presence. She's the host of the Pre-Game Podcast and one half of Well Crafted, a cocktail hour experience blending curated conversations and mixology with good energy and even better company. I want y'all to put your hands together and welcome the always outside, always in the know, Monique Moby outside Bonnie. Sis,
Thank you. Hi.
what it do? Hey.
Come on, shout out to you in that intro. Thank you.
I mean, look, we try to pull some things together, make you feel special.
Listen, my family treats me good. My family treats me good.
We
How are you doing?
We do. Sis, I'm well in this moment. I'm better now. Now that you're here, we're praying for our bandwidth. You know what I'm saying?
Good vibes.
Spectrum
Good
be good
vibes.
to us. Spectrum be good. Look, it's good to see you. You
Good
look
to see
great.
you as well. Thank you.
Radiating on summer's front door. What's good? What's going on?
I'm excited. One, to talk to you. Two,
Thank you.
Juneteenth tomorrow. So super
It
excited
is.
about celebrating our people and all the things. There's a sun going on, so I'll be outside celebrating.
Well, I'm just glad it stopped raining long enough for y'all to enjoy outdoors. I heard it's been nonstop.
Yeah, no. I'm glad that it stopped today because otherwise I would have been on your podcast with a hat on.
Word. So look, we out here. So let's get into it. Mo, for those that don't know, is single. She's out here looking for her husband, and looking for her husband to find her as well, right? So let's hope those two things converge. But Mo, you have a brilliant and unique take. I find that every time we talk, I have a different perspective on things that most people talk about but don't see the way you do.
Okay.
So let's start with how has your dating journey been out here in these single streets?
It has been an experience.
Okay.
I have learned a lot of things. I am still single, so I have not yet been successful.
Okay.
But yeah, so after my divorce, I decided to take a couple of years off and say, figure it out, heal. Shout out to my therapist coming up with some tools and strategies.
Shout out to the therapist.
Shout out to the therapist. Give it up for therapy. But then started dating, looking for an authentic connection. So, hopefully my husband will find me and I will find him, and eventually things will do what they do. But in the interim, I'm definitely looking for an authentic connection. And, so we can bump normal, see what normal looks like. my normal, your normal. You always smile when I say that. Um,
I
and
will
that's what
forever be
it
the
is.
12-year-old
Dating,
boy who hears
dating
bump
is
normals
bumping normals.
and Snickers. That is hilarious. All right, you got to tell me and the people out there, what is bumping normals?
Bumping normals. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I call dating. Dating is bumping normals. So I have what I consider to be normal places where I go to eat, how I spend my downtime, how I recharge, how I vacation, what weekends look like, right? So like I'll go outside sometimes and I'll stay in the house sometimes. Some people don't like going outside and that's okay, right? That's a part of your normal. But as we sort of live life together, there should be some level of convergence. There should be some melding. And there's going to be places where they do not mold and melt and come together, and that's okay. But is that sort of so outside of your normal that I stress you out or you stress me out? So, and then that's how
I
you
get
figure
that.
out, right? So, like, yes, we can look
Sure.
great on paper, and yes, we can have all of this chemistry and connection. But, like, if I
Mhm.
can't walk and talk my day to day with you, my special occasions with you, then, it's not really going to work out.
So, okay. Thank you for that explanation, because I'm like, okay, bumping normals, which makes perfect sense. Um, but does it have to be, is it like zero sum, like all the normals have to bump well? Or is it
No,
like
no, no,
we can
no.
have some interplay of degrees
Absolutely.
of bumping
That,
well? I don't know how to,
that Venn diagram.
what do I do with the normals?
What do you do with the normals? You leave them alone. No.
Okay.
So that Venn
Yeah.
diagram absolutely has my whole self and his whole self together.
Yeah.
But there should be some middle. There should be some middle.
Word.
And if there's not some middle, then are we really connected? Or do we really have a connection? Or do I just think that you're 6'5" finance? Right? Like, is there something in the middle?
Okay.
You're frozen.
I know. I know. Son of a bitch. It was going so well.
We were. Tell the
Hold,
babies to get off of Minecraft.
I'm about to kick everybody out this bitch. Hold on one second. Hold the phone. Sorry, folks. We'll be right back. Hold on. So, okay. So there's a Venn diagram of normals. We're going to move.
Yes.
So what have you found to be the biggest challenge with finding that person whose normals bump well?
I think the challenge comes in authenticity and vulnerability, right? So I think that
Mm,
sometimes when approaching someone, you want to impress, right? And that's great, right? Let's impress our person. But eventually, that 80/20 is going to work its way out, right? And so either you have shown yourself to be somebody that you're not, right?
yeah,
That's a red flag. That's a flag and a flag. Or you
for
don't
real.
desire to show your real self for whatever reason, whether you don't feel like you can be yourself around me, which if I'm not making a safe place for you to be yourself, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you don't feel like you deserve a thing, which pick a blank. That's not my stuff. So like
Sure.
that's sort of
Sure.
like that's generally where it is. And I do think that sometimes people have been so beat up and hurt by other people in being
Mm,
their true authentic self
sure.
that you're signing up not only for that person, but you're also signing up for their wounds. So like if you're not going to tell me that that's your wound, and like so now I'm fighting this battle, this silent battle, that's a lot. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think those are sort
Mm-hmm.
of some of the things I've ran into.
Okay, we've got a lot to dig into here. So,
Oh no, what did I say?
listen, no, but I think you made a brilliant point that you're not just signing up for the person, you're signing up for their wounds as well, and I think
Absolutely.
that's a word. Um, so, but when do you share that, right? Like, and forgive my ignorance, I've been out the game for a while, like 16 years.
Come on, Black Love.
listen,
Yes.
listen. So I got out before dating, and it was before digital, and so like you had to have game, like conversation and bravery to approach and be able to hold a conversation, like all of these
Right.
things. But I will say that there's been advancements in expectations of vulnerability, language around it that didn't exist, back in my day. So I guess the question is, what is the appropriate time to be vulnerable, right? And I'll contextualize that a little bit. So a lot of the times when we're talking to single Black professional women, when we ask them what is their criteria, what are they looking for in a man, they'll tell us the aesthetic, the thing. But the number one thing that we hear is they want a brother who's emotionally available. And I'm saying, okay, cool. On one hand, when would this brother have gotten the training, guidance, or space to even learn how to be emotionally available and allowed by the world to be such? But then, even secondly, when does that show up? Right? Is that expected on first date? Or is there some time in relationship with that for you?
I think the answer is all of the above, right? So am I expecting you to pour into why you still mad at your mama because she never bought you the real Cheerios, not the store brand Cheerios. You know what I mean? Like, I would say
I feel
no.
like that was a real thing for you.
I mean, it's oddly specific,
Damn, somebody's out here hurt, bro.
but
Them puffed rice joints
that
weren't
puff
it?
rice
Yeah,
sent them there.
devastating.
Devastating.
Ah,
Emotional damage. No,
damage.
but in all seriousness, I do think that you have to show up emotionally available, meaning you're ready for this interaction. That to me is like day one, day zero, right? Are you ready for this interaction? Or am I going to say, something along the lines of, uh, I don't know, if you open the door for me and that's going to trigger you into the last person that she was opening doors for, right? And now you're spiraling because she's a princess. She's in her soft girl era, like that. You know what I mean? So, are you ready for this interaction? Are you ready to exchange energy? Or am I walking into a dirty sleep? So I would say day one.
No, that's fair. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I don't either.
I don't. I don't think that it's. I don't think it's common. Let me just say this.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, that just is right. But again, is it an unreasonable expectation to have an emotionally available, emotionally articulate brother in the big 2025?
I don't think so. I think that
Okay.
um I think the whole concept around it is more around having a learning posture, right? And so, like, to know that I desire emotional intelligence or emotional availability knows that at some point you will be triggered. At some point you will learn something more about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
should be learning about my person as we're moving from dating to being in a relationship to, if there is that authentic connection, then, moving on, there's always an ing in there. Like, it's not like I have
Sure.
arrived. I
Yeah,
am
not an ED.
available. Right. Like, there's an ing in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Fair. Well, I want to go back to something you just said, a learning posture. Immediately, I jumped to sort of like, a growth mindset, but growth posture, learning posture. What is that?
So for me, a learning posture or a growth posture, so we hear about it often corporately. Are you doing a thing, right? And then you're learning more about the thing, and are you thinking about your skill set and da 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 da. Da. I do think that that applies everywhere in life, right?
Mm,
And so if you have a learning growth posture or growth posture, then not only are you learning about yourself professionally and personally, you have space to learn about me professionally and personally, and then execute on the things that you're learning.
okay. Okay. I dig that. I dig that. I have a growth posture. I want to sit up a little taller
Yeah.
on that. Just what is, yes. Okay. Let me get into this. So,
Yes.
okay. I don't know that it's. I think we can agree that it is not common to have an emotionally available brother on day one, right? And hell, I'll even apply that to sisters too.
As you
Just
should. As you
right.
should.
It's
As
it's
you
it's across the board. It's not just brothers. However, I will say uniquely the experience for Black men in this country, and if we're talking about Black professional men, um, there is a uh, exceedingly small population who have journeyed into that space to become emotionally available. It's growing, I will say, as we become more evolved technologically, and as younger generations come in and are more in tune, or more encouraged to be in tune with their emotions. We're starting to see some shifts there, thank goodness. But I got to be honest, the world has not really created space for Black men to be emotionally anything, right? Emotionally expressive, articulate, available, aware, right? We are actually positioned as void of emotion, right? In many cases, objectified, right? And that's a lot of history there. And
Very much.
unfortunately, that history has also pervaded the views of our dear sisters. So when we say that we want you to show up emotionally available, I say, show me the woman that helped this young brother be that, or the brother that's taken the initiative to be that, um, without being pushed to do so. And I'll say that's a small population. So how do you deal with that? Because this is what you're dealing with. Like, this is the population that's out here.
I think, well, one, I think, yes, you're right. And I think that sort of holding space for Black men is important, period. We're going to start there, period. Um, what I think it is for me as a woman, particularly as a Black woman, capital B, my job is to know what that looks like. Right. And so that means that sometimes I don't get to respond. Sometimes I need to hold space, right? Sometimes I need to make sure that as something is being shared with me, I'm not in judgment and maybe leading with curiosity, or just holding space for the thing and then unpacking that and then maybe following up. And I think that is a part of building a safe space for your person. So, like, as you are warring against world, when you are not in the world and my person is with me, I'm hoping that they find solitude and a space where they can sort of like not be all the things. Right.
I
And
love
that
it.
takes time, and that takes vulnerability, and that takes
Hmm.
sort of all the things. Right. So if
Yeah.
if that Black man decides not to turn off, that can't be my responsibility.
Hmm.
So,
Y'all
like,
listening, brothers? Y'all listening?
you
She's
gotta turn
telling you the
off.
keys.
You gotta turn off. If and not to turn off completely, right? But if the moment hits you and
Hmm.
we're
Hmm.
having a conversation, sure. But yeah, I just don't see, in the same way that as a Black woman that's in the corporate world who's also an entrepreneur trying to do other things, I need to be on. Right. And
Hmm.
so I need
Hmm.
to turn off when I'm with my person. So I'm more soft and
Hmm.
feminine and right. So
That's a really good segue. So I've shared a couple of the things that we hear from the sisters who are engaging with upfront, as members. Some of the things that they're challenged by in this dating culture and landscape. Some of the things that we hear from the brothers speak to that softness, or the absence of softness, or
mhm.
femininity, let's say, or being in your residing in one's feminine and things of that nature. I see the chuckle, the chuckle.
You're like resigning.
Did I just exude
Yes. You
femininity
just
and
you just
water and
sashayed a
flow?
little bit. It
That
was
was
very.
in my soft brother era
I
moment
love
just now.
it.
I'm gonna need somebody to define that for me. By the way, what is it to be in a
You get to
soft girl
you get to
era? What is that?
soft girl era, I think, is a lot. A lot of people translate into a lot of different things. And in life, everything's on the spectrum. So some people are not working and are sugar babies, and there's that.
Oh,
Um, right. That's the softest, apparently. Ask the internet. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I do think it's more around boundary definition and just setting expectations on how you would like to be treated in a relationship. So
okay, 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 yeah. So I'm gonna come back to that one. So the femininity part, right? The softness.
yeah.
And you touched on it, right? Like you roam these corporate hallways, right? And there's a certain level of, I mean, let's just be honest, they're still very much male dominated, right? And so, in order to succeed in those environments, you have to um, exude, exhibit, assign even some level of masculinity to be competitive in these spaces. That just is what it is. The space almost dictates the behaviors and sets forth the behaviors that are conducive to success. But when you step out of those spaces, right, taking off that corporate uniform and that energy and that armor, as it were, to be more soft with your person, how do you balance that? And I'm saying from you specifically, right?
I don't know that you balance that. I don't think it's something. I
Oh,
think it's something that lives in a box, right? And so,
it's
just
like
as we like
severance. Like when you go to work, it's when you come home, you don't even have knowledge of it. It's just
in the
box.
same way that I code switch at work and don't code switch at home, I can
Ah,
be very authoritarian. And when I say masculine, like I'm talking about like, oh, I need to make the decisions and I need to fill out pick your thing about what's going to make a corporate executive successful, right?
mm-hmm.
That I can code switch, right? But at the same time, at home, I don't have to, or I don't have to over explain a thing. So I'll give you an example. I was at work and I wear everything on my face. I do not have a poker face. So someone said something
Same.
completely outrageous on the phone. And I did one of those. And they were like, Monique, you don't have a poker face. And I said, baby, I don't play poker, I play spades. And then I just kept going. And
Yo,
so
that is the bar for 2025. I don't play poker, I play spades.
the brown faces on the screen were
Man, I
like,
know he's like, whoop.
whoop.
Yo, that is
Meanwhile,
fire.
my counterparts may have never known what I'm talking about, right?
Sure, sure. Spades. What does
So
she mean?
I can do both, right? I don't have to be one. I don't have to
Okay.
balance the things, and I do think I believe more so in harmony, right? When I have to be super co-pilot at work and I'm doing these governance meetings and I'm on, then I might crash when I get home and I might need you to do a little bit more than what you did before because
Mm.
it's very taxing. I think it's the same thing for Black men,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right? You've been warring with the world. I might need to leave you alone, leave you decompress,
mm-hmm,
find your favorite whatever it is, make sure
mm-hmm.
that's on the table. Like,
Yeah.
you all right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, check in, right? Like just
Check
check
in. Yeah,
in.
like when there's harmony there, I don't know that there's balance.
I received that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it's hard to be two different people all the time, right? Like that is a reality we deal with in general, navigating this world, especially when we go into dominant group environments, right? There is actual code switching, but then energy code switching or relational code switching. It's a really good point. Like you do need a place to be fully yourself without the mask,
Yes.
and somebody who can also read the room and know when to give you space to just sort of like leave the shoes and work at the door and come in and get into that comfortability of safety and so forth. So no, that's good. What about gender roles? All right, I'm gonna hit all the buttons now. So I will not say that there is a tried and true cookie cutter one size fits all version of successful relationships. I will say that what I've seen in successful relationships is when people accept and have conversations about the roles within the relationship and who's going to do what. And I'm not assigning that to any specific gender, right? As long as people, she might be way better at managing the finances than the brother, and he might be way better at cooking or, maintaining home. Whatever works for you in your relationship, but there has to be that conversation. So for you and your future husband, what does that dynamic look like for you?
I would hope that it would look like I get to give him something that he doesn't desire to do, and he gets to give me something he doesn't desire to do.
That's a good start. What do you
That's
hate
what I
doing? You do that.
You do that, and I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't mind. I actually find a lot of joy in cleaning out my refrigerator. Cleaning out the refrigerator, like it does. It just it
Literally brings you
makes me
joy.
think. literally brings me joy, right? I'm
Love that.
scrubbing instead of doing all the things, right? I don't like cleaning the shower, the tub. Hate it, right? Shout out to my cleaning lady. But
That part.
right,
Listen.
but it gets done,
Yeah.
right? But like to that point, if some
Outsource.
people outsource that
You
thing,
might have to
right?
outsource some things.
I do think that sometimes people, if you'd spend $100, you may not have gotten divorced.
Ooh, real talk. Listen, so I don't know who was this.
I mean, we're
Probably.
family at this point, so like,
Hey,
there's people
listen.
watching,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
they're just peeking in on a conversation between family members. So I don't know. God, it's maybe about almost 10 years ago. No, probably like 10 years ago now. So we're at a dinner party, my wife and I, family, friends, all professionals. And the wives are off in one section having their conversation. The husbands are doing their thing. And the husbands come and reconvene back into, the conversation. And what they were talking about, my wife happened to be talking about how she, we argue over cleaning and she feels like I'm not doing it enough. And she's coming home from work and I come home from work with this expectation that she does X, Y, and Z. And, she just feels like I can't keep up. I'm not successful. I'm not, what did she say? I'm a C plus wife and mother at best because I have so much going on. And one of the wives was like, girl, hire a maid.
The best advice ever.
Listen,
Like,
and she was like, huh, I never thought of that. And that
but I
shit, it was
tell
a game
you,
changer. Oh my God, a game changer.
Because we were talking
Twice a
about
month.
breaking generational curses. We're talking about wounds. I have a southern shame, about my
Keeping a
house not
clean
being
house.
clean.
Yes,
What?
ma'am.
You cannot
Listen.
come to my home. No, think
Look,
when
you gonna
people are
clean
coming to
before
my
the cleaner
house,
comes. That's how y'all. I'm like, what are you doing?
wept. The first time I had a cleaner, wept. I cried because I
Oh,
was like, I'm a failure. Like it
oh,
was a thing. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not
yeah.
even. Yeah, so yes to the cleaner. But like the whole gender role and sort of all the things, I do think it's a thing that shouldn't really be a conversation for
Mm,
me
okay.
because if you're a full adult before me and I'm a full adult before you, and then we're bumping normals, we should have two full adults that's got some strategies and got some know-how and got a little bit of money, and we can figure this out. So like
Mm-hmm.
the cooking and the cleaning and sort of all the things, let's lean in
Yeah,
on those strengths, like we do at work. At work, you do what you're really good at, and then you outsource the things that you're not so good at.
that's smart. That's smart.
I'm a single person that's trying to do all the things. I order my groceries. I do not need to go to that place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Outsourcing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Every couple of weeks, she comes to the house. I love her. Shout out to Jessica.
Come on,
Outsource
Jessica.
that thing. What?
Love her.
When's the last time that you cleaned the interior of your car? You outsource that thing. Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's not that deep. Yo,
I
it's not that
outsourced
deep.
that thing.
I think we overcomplicate a lot of things to compete with TikTok and Instagram. Like, let's just be for real.
What? So that's a word because I think lifestyle has, at least the illusion of a lifestyle, has ruined a lot of people's relationships and perception of relationship. We had a brother on the podcast. Shouts out to Dozy, who former NFL athlete, very handsome gentleman, um, early 30s, and literally is pigeonholed by this perception that all he likes is Instagram models. And all he'll date is, the highly superficial, want to be on the scene, here for the lifestyle and the imagery, but not the substance. And I'm like, damn. So, there's pretty privilege, but then apparently there's pretty penalties too. So this whole notion of curating the imagery of successful relationships, and that's prevalent, right? Which I think is why you don't see a lot of married people out there being vocal about their relationships. And it sucks because there's also a need for that perspective of actual healthy and sustainable relationships so that those who aspire to be spouses can have some good models and examples, right? What has been that for you? Right. One question that we often ask is who taught you how to be a wife?
Oh, not a soul.
Well,
Nobody.
that was easy.
Nobody.
Okay, okay,
I can, you know, I what I can say is that I was raised around fiercely independent women who happened to be
okay.
married, who happened to be married. So they sort of did the things, right, wrong, or indifferent. And then I'll use my grandfather and my grandmother for example, right? So my grandmother, fiercely independent, did all the things, went to work, did all the things, right? Cool. My grandfather did all the things. Sometimes she cooked dinner, sometimes she didn't. He didn't complain either way. They had already worked that out.
That's what's up.
There wasn't like I've never witnessed them have in-depth conversations about money, right?
Okay.
Things just happened. My mother and
Yeah.
her husband, my mother's been married a few times, but
Hmm.
no one sat me down. I was not groomed in a way to say, you know, make sure that there's food on the table, make sure da 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 da. Da. When it was a whole lot of figure it out. And so what I can say as a divorcee
Hmm.
is what that has taught me is how to communicate differently. Has taught me to ask different questions and then also recognize when seasons change. And so as seasons change, those questions are going to change, the check-ins might change, and sort of just trying to be a little bit more um forward thinking as opposed to reactionary when it comes to my home.
Oh man, that is gold. That is liquid gold. I think I want to go back to the grandmom and grandpop example. You didn't hear the conversations, right? You didn't hear the mechanics of how it worked. They worked it out. You saw the outcomes. What I wonder is, do you think that there would be, what would it look like if we had more of that transfer of wisdom between the generations who have sustained 20, 25, 40-year marriages, to be able to sort of open the hood and give some of that wisdom to upcoming generations? What would that look like for you?
I think I've seen it in church. I've seen it attempted in church. And I think that
Attempt.
attempt
That's
because
fair.
the normals were different.
Very
So
much so. It's a different
very much
world.
so. It's a whole different world. So I have relatively young grandparents. Some people's grandparents, a woman couldn't own property as a Black person without being married, right?
They could though.
They could,
They could through inheritance.
right? They could do
They always
inheritance.
could. Yeah.
Was it possible? Was it probable?
You have to have something to pass
Right?
down. There's that. So there's
Right?
that.
Right, there's that. There are grandmothers that husbands were miserable, and as long as he paid the bills, he could go and do whatever he wanted to do across town, and then they played Christmas and Thanksgiving and sort of all the things. Um, that exists,
That's
right?
very real. And you meet
Very
your
real.
half brothers at the funeral. You know what I mean? Your half sisters.
Listen, 23andMe has ruined a lot of things, okay? Brought a lot of people together, ruined a lot of things. But what I can say,
That's true.
right, is I think that there's the sharing of endurance and a sharing of seasonality of a thing. And I think that that's beautiful. Because, like, for example, Michelle Obama went viral for telling everybody she hated Barack for like
So I don't
10
fuck with
years.
that dude for 10 years. Like,
She
I was like, damn,
didn't like
Michelle.
him, but Michelle signed up forever.
That's real.
And she was like, what's 10 years of forever? Nah,
A
I got 10
blank.
years. Right. But she can say that because she overcame it. So she needed somebody while she was on year 2 of I don't really mess with him
Hmm.
to tell her, like, this is your person and you signed up for forever. And for her community to show up and say, go get a maid, go get your groceries delivered. Right. Like
Right, right, right.
that's what that senior leadership in marriage looks like to me. Like
Oh,
it's not the sharing of this is, you know, this is how you do it. This is a you gonna get by. You just
I got you.
a
It's that
stopgap.
support, the
It's
communal
support.
support, right?
It's a communal support because I'm not good. Like I may not subscribe to your normal, and your marriage may look crazy to me.
Hmm.
Strong, however, you did it for 25 years, done it for right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That's fair. Look, I think you're absolutely right. There's a lack of communal support, right? And far too often you hear people getting terrible advice from non-married people in their close family who have no business giving advice to married people,
At all.
right? But, and then you have single people giving single people advice, which I find fascinating, by the way, on long-term relationships. But either way, but I also think that highlights part of the biggest issue is that we lack community, right? Like we have people who look similar that live in proximity to each other, but we don't have communities like we used to. Now, there's a lot of external factors that have contributed to the um, I'd say destruction of Black community, right? And so the moment we got access, we sort of like left our own shit and was like, oh, cool, we got access to white lifestyle. Now let's go. But but everything that when you talk about those past historical representations, and this is a common narrative that we hear when we talk about we used to be the most married racial group in the country, right? 85% marital rate between 1866 and 1978. Well, when I often find, and this is not me being judgmental, but I'm just stating facts. I often find that the perspective on that historical representation of our marital rate comes with a narrative of how horrible those marriages were and how abusive those men were and how those women didn't have rights. And I'm like, at some point, it's tantamount to slavery in this narrative. But if 85% of us got married, are we going to say that all the marriages were bad? I don't believe that, right? But right, so as we look back on history and say, well, those were different times, 100%. But it also then you have to accept that if we were married at an 85% rate in the most oppressive times that this country is right seen post-slavery, then how is it that we as the freest Negroes this country's ever seen can't get marriage right? That's what
I
I wrestle with.
I wouldn't wrestle with it. I leave it alone.
Like it's very simple, actually.
Don't. Well, no, I wouldn't. I mean, everything is explainable in a way. Yeah. I wouldn't
Mm.
wrestle with it. I wouldn't wrestle with it because
Yeah, she's good.
at the time we were 85% most married. We were also, how many of us were churched? And in the
A
church, that's a
huge hub,
part of, right.
100%. Yep.
That's a huge part of being in Christendom,
And
right? So
community.
like
That was a
in
hub, a
community, it's a
source,
hub, right?
resource. Yes.
And this is what normal looks like.
We have different normals. God dog it. Okay. Okay. So yes, yes. So as a part of, and we'll call this, let's say, late 50s into the early 60s, and this is where you see some interesting sociological turns, right? So post Civil Rights Act, you start getting access, right? And let's say mid 50s, you started to get an uptick in college admissions for Black folks. You started to see more women going into college, Black women going into college as well. Then around the 60s, post civil rights era, we start to get access to better jobs or different jobs. We start moving outside of our local areas. The 70s, late 69 free love, 70s disco era, 80s cocaine cowboys, like all of these things are, listen, these societal events. And then of course there's legislation and policy, media changes, depictions of Black folks in media, whole lot of things converging at once to start to remove these stigmas, and not necessarily negative stigmas, but stigmas that governed how we engaged with each other in community, right? Like you couldn't go outside looking any kind of way, right? Because that would have people looking at your family crazy. Your
For
mama
sure.
let you out the house looking like that, right? Like we are old enough to remember statements like that, like what you
Absolutely.
couldn't go out the house looking like. You weren't going to call somebody's house asking for Monique after 9, like that's what you weren't going to do. Like there were stigmas. You could correct the behavior of somebody acting a fool in the streets and then send them home to their mom, right? These communal agreements that we had also dissipated with our access and I'd say what's the word, exodus from community. But that had a massive impact on relationship too. So how do we get community back so that we can get relationship back? That's what I'm.
I would say that we have community. It just looks different. So I think that
Okay.
So what I can say as a single person, right?
Hmm.
I can tap into communities virtually that are not in my backyard, that
Hmm.
are healthy, leading to a holistic me, sort of doing all the things, right? I can tap into those places. I can also tap into very toxic places that talk about, and have all the things about how men ain't shit and you might as well stay single and you bet all by yourself, right? And so, in the same way that I could do
Oh.
that physically, right? I can
Hmm.
still do that virtually. So, like, I do think that we have
Okay.
community in a way.
Okay.
However, in agreement with you, we don't have a community accountability, right? So like when Joe was beating on Catherine,
Mm.
right? Somebody from the community would come and check Joe and be like, what you're not gonna do is go in the house. What you're not gonna do is da 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 da, da, right? And I think that's the lack. We don't have that community accountability. Some virtual platforms have been able to do that. But if you're a solo person and you're not looking for accountability and you're just sort of meandering, you can be a part of
Mhm.
all of these virtual communities without accountability and without accountability
Mm.
for me to pour into that community
Mhm.
and anyone to hold me accountable when I'm outside of the normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accountability, that is the word. I think it gets tossed around a lot, but I
Yeah.
don't know that I think accountability is very hard for people who aren't self-aware. Right? Because nobody likes to hear you know about themselves doing the shit wrong. Like that's but right, it's like that feedback is free, right? The feedback is a gift. Well, some people don't want your gift.
And honestly, when is the last time you received anything of value for free? So
Yeah,
so
it's always a
and that
cost.
sort of
Ain't
goes
nothing
back to
free.
that growth posture for me. It goes
Yeah.
back to that growth posture because what you're doing and holding me accountable, whether it be in community or in relationship,
Hmm.
is telling me about a blind spot,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
so I have to be open to the fact that I have blind spots. And I have to be open to the fact that you have blind spots. And so
Hmm.
when I find a blind spot about you, I can't write a narrative about that, about who you are. And because you didn't see this blind spot, or it's a growth, it's a place where you need to grow, you need to get that muscle together, right? I can't write a story about you in my brain about your capacity to hold something
Sure.
if this is a muscle that you need to develop. Or
So,
I
I mean, you
can,
can
but that's a
that might come
choice.
with that might come
That's
with
a
some
choice.
some consequence on that on the back end of that, right? Because you don't know how people are going to receive those calls to accountability, right? And that's
For sure.
ideally once you put some time in and you've gotten a feel for the rhythm of your person, you do know how they're going to take it, and then you craft the delivery. But at the same time, listen, um, but that's the thing.
I'm single. I talk to my
Uh,
dog.
well, and he doesn't talk back, and that's good. Dog, no talk back. Yes. So I think that that's a really important point. So how as we think about, because we cover some really good stuff here, as you think about your journey through healing, let's say, right? And as a divorcee, I know that you had to go through some a deep and intense period of healing, and it's ongoing. But what's something in, let's say, in the last year, as you've experienced different potential persons, that's revealed a yet unhealed portion of yourself that you had to face?
That's a great question. Um, I would say, well, my as I was processing, the first thing that came to my brain is that the internet will tell you to come whole and come healed, potential, right? That is
Fucking
what the
internet.
internet would tell you, the internet. But what I learned throughout this period, the season of singledom, is that you don't know where those landmines are until you're in a relationship with somebody. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that is what keeps some people single because like I'm good now, but
Mm-hmm.
I know as soon as I'm in relationship with somebody, something's going to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was sort of like gut reaction. That's sort of where it hit. I can't identify in this moment, and I'm definitely have
Hmm.
to chew on that, like
Okay.
something that I, was like, oh, aha, epiphany. Um, I feel like I'm learning a lot about what it is, all of these degrees of singledom and what certain things mean and what certain things do not mean. So pre-dating apps, meeting somebody's family and friends was a thing. It was a thing. Now it is not a thing. It is not an occurrence. It is a
Mm.
regular degular situation. Male
Yeah.
and the different ways that women and men interact. Complete like Father's Day just came up. Happy Father's Day to you.
Hmm. Thank you.
How we deal with that in dating, Mother's Day and Father's Day, and sort of all of that. All of that is brand new. So yeah, no, everything is brand new. I actually wrote a post about that, about like how do you deal with Mother's Day and Father's Day with somebody that you're dating?
So, that's, but that's like a forced family interaction kind of situation.
Is it?
It has to be. Well,
Is it?
if you're a mother and if he's a father, then you're already in it. But if it's,
Okay. What does that mean?
well, you got to honor your motherhood and his fatherhood as, Mother's and Father's Day. But does that mean
How do you
that you
do that?
get a gift?
I don't know.
Well,
Does it?
I think that depends on how far along in your relationship you are as well, right? If you're like 2 dates in, then no, like, hey, happy Father's Day. Cool. It's a quick text, or happy Mother's Day. Awesome, right? Flower emoji. I don't know. But again, I'm out the game.
Would
Don't
be
ask me.
disrespectful.
I don't know. I don't know how y'all navigate that. That's why I'm talking to you. You tell
Oh,
me.
see,
How
that's
do
very
you
funny.
navigate
So
that?
I don't know. So the question is
Okay.
still, I don't
Okay.
know. Um, what I can tell you is that what other people told me. So
Okay.
I've heard gentlemen say, "That's not my baby. I didn't make you nobody mama."
Bruh. Good Lord.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to acknowledge you. So
What?
just saying it or a text message is adequate.
I would think so. I don't think that's crazy. First of all, that's
So
crazy
what
work.
it
Like,
is,
I
it
ain't
is.
make you no mom.
One of my
Yo.
brothers owns beautician supplies, and so I'm on the phone with him, and
Okay.
he like puts me on mute and asks the guys in the barbershop, "Hey, do you not?" And they were like, "Nah." There's that, right? There's
Okay.
there's small portions of gratitude, right? You can do a thing, but doesn't have to do all the things because of where
Yeah.
you are, right? And then there's the people, predominantly women, who are like, absolutely not. Do all the things. If I'm dating intentionally, I'm acting as if, right? And then so I'm just gonna show up. So there's lots of I'm gonna
It's
go outside of
degrees.
frame.
My
There's lots of
God. Yeah, it's way outside of frame. That's,
so what's
oh,
normal? So what's normal?
it
Yeah,
isn't. There is no normal.
there's
That's,
no normal.
and that's why I kind of look, that's sticky. Um, that these are real situations, right? And I'm like, God bless y'all, because thank goodness for upfront.
Yeah,
That's
this
all
is
I'm gonna say. That's
and,
all I'm
see,
gonna
and
say.
you're like, we need to bring the people. The people gonna talk to the singles. And you know what y'all say? God bless you. I'm
God
so
bless
glad.
y'all.
Bless
Listen,
you. I'm praying for your journey.
may God be with you, each one of you.
I talk to him every day.
So listen, I the the playing as if you're already doing the thing, right? And I get sisters who are intentional are out here, practicing how they want to play the game. I get that. That makes sense. But I don't know. Like that's deep. Like for brothers who like, I ain't make you a mama. I ain't got to celebrate your father's. Like that's who
And I
raised
think
these
it's sort of
brothers.
it heavy on who raised you. But no, I think it's
Yeah,
also about it's normals, right? I keep going back to normals. And so
yeah.
like how you are celebrated. And if you were never celebrated, particularly in your home or by any of your priors,
Mm,
right? Like it's
mm.
not normal to you. Meanwhile, I'm a person of celebration. My grandmother, hey Nana, she's gonna watch this.
Hey,
Um
Nana.
made cakes in the middle of the week. And it was me and my little cousin and her, and my cousin got a candle and I got a candle. It was Wednesday. In the summer. Our birthdays are in the winter. It didn't matter. We were blowing out candles
Aw.
because there was cake. We celebrate birthdays big in my house.
Yeah,
Um, we get a promotion at work. My girlfriends, my besties, send me flowers,
that's
right?
cool.
And so, like,
Yeah.
it's known on the internet. Like, a man is gonna have a hard time outdoing the best friends, but not doing nothing is never an option.
Yeah, okay. So are you also like a Valentine's girly? Like you need the chocolates, the flowers, like is that
No,
requisite? No,
no.
I didn't think you were. That
I want what's us.
what
So
makes sense for you.
what's us? So right.
That's
So if
good.
one of my exes, we like around the way Mexican spot. So while everybody is at Steak 48, can't breathe in their dress clothes, we were having tacos at the runway spot. And that was just our thing. And like there was a little
Okay.
corny Valentine's Day stuff on, and that's what we did.
That's good. Okay.
But
That's
like
good.
I would rather be seen than celebrated.
Oh, that's a bar. I feel that. I feel that. No, look, there's a lot of people who are very like sticklers for like, no, I need the chocolates,
Oh,
I
for
need the
sure.
flowers, or this didn't happen and you don't
I
love
don't
me.
I don't think that there's an issue with it. I think
Hmm.
the underlying thing that I see for me is that you didn't think of me and failed to plan. So
That yeah,
like
that tracks.
you didn't
That
think of
tracks.
me. And like
Hey man,
this
yeah,
one day is no this is the think of me reminder for the rest of the world. So like
right.
of all things, I want you to think of me and act. Don't keep thinking
Hmm.
and act.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go from
So like
theory to application, please. Yes. I
right.
think that's a
So yeah,
conversation.
I don't think
Go
that there's
ahead.
anything wrong with wanting all the things.
Okay. Well, I think as long as that conversation is had up front. So, see
I
what
see
we
what you
did
did
there.
there. I see what you
All
did
right.
there.
So look, I want to switch gears a little bit. I was at
Okay.
an event. I was at an event and it's for, six-figure salary black professionals, right? So it's,
Uh-huh.
there's some high value people across the board in this room. Don't hate me, internet. I'm sorry. I'll
Oh,
remove that from my lexicon.
absolutely.
There are some holistically beautiful people who are well earned, well
Well earned.
salaried,
We're salaried.
well adjusted people. Anyway, there's beautiful sisters, there's handsome brothers in here. And I'm floating around. I'm talking about up front and introducing the app to my demographic, literally. And it's a good vibe, right? DJ, drinks flowing, cool. So I'm about an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I'm at a table with three beautiful sisters. Two of them are doctors. One of them owns her own real estate situation. Cool. And I'm hearing their woes, right? And I'm sitting here just looking around as we're talking, and I'm seeing all of these brothers who are all talking to each other and not talking to these sisters. And I'm 16 years deep in marriage. I have no dog
Come
in
on,
this
Black
fight.
Love.
Feel me?
Yes.
So I'm like, I have no dog in this fight. What are these dudes doing? So I asked the ladies, I was like, so how is it that these brothers haven't approached you? Have they come over and they're like, you're the only one. I'm like, that's wild work. That I'm whole ass married man out here having great conversations talking about an app, but these other brothers aren't approaching. They're like, oh, that's normal.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, that is man code, never to approach a group of women. I get that, right? We know better. But I want to hear your perspective on that. Like, there's a really an art and a science to approaching women in general, one to one. But one to many, that's a different. That's next level degree shit. Like, you have to be really good to do that. But why is that so hard?
So I throw events in Philly and I ask the same exact questions, right? And
Okay,
so what my brothers have told me is that particularly when you're at a singles event, the rejection radar goes through the roof. It goes to the moon. So can you imagine you, single self, at a highly regarded singles event
hmm,
where everyone is of caliber
sure.
and still being rejected? Can you imagine that? Can you
Yeah, that's crazy.
imagine that with some level of confidence that everybody is single and you still get
Hmm,
rejected?
hmm.
Um, so like
Oof,
that takes it
that
through the
hurts.
roof. Um, Another thing that I've heard multiple times is I look like a hoe. So hear me out. So they
What?
I'm a person and I see 2 to 3 potentials in the room, right? And
Okay.
particularly at singles events, there's normally more women than men, right? So even the best played out, I invited all the people, it's going to be an even room. There's always more women than men.
Yeah.
So if that brother goes and talks to 2 to 3 women and exchanges information, he's now a player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's shooting in a bucket. Like, this is what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be.
He's the one that everybody has described they want. He's
Well,
here. He's available. He's not married. He has no kids. He's hetero. He right.
well,
He's
he's well earned,
makes the money.
makes
He's well
money,
salaried. He's well
well
salaried.
salaried. He's well
Yes.
salaried. But I guess what I'm saying is sort of the opposite, right? So he's going out and hunting, right? And so if he has
Okay.
decided on more than one, that could be an issue.
Okay. Yeah.
All
So
right.
the competition factor right there.
Oh gosh, there's a celebration. All
Hello,
right. And
balloons.
then I love balloons. And then the third thing I should say is in those types of scenarios, oftentimes there are, let's call it, if there's 20 men, there might be 3 that are creme de la creme. They are him, right?
Okay.
So they are
Okay.
all of these things and they happen to be 6'5" and muscular and
Hmm.
no children and all the things. They are hitting all the marks, right? Okay,
Okay.
great. I have seen women get in line for these men. Mind you, there are 17
What?
other men in
No.
this room.
Oh
17
wow.
in line
Oh
waiting
my
to
God.
exchange information because I'm her and he's gonna like me. Like, this is like Love
Wow.
Island or something. Like, yeah. So can
This
you
is Hunger
imagine?
Games.
Hunger Games.
This shit is
Help
crazy. Y'all
me,
competing for
right?
resources.
Exactly. So like if I'm gonna do a thing,
What?
I'm gonna pick that one. And I don't care if she picked that one. Well, may the odds forever be in her favor.
Oh.
And so
Whoa.
those 3 things, right? And so like watching those power dynamics, right? And so like I've talked to the
Yeah.
guys that were the creme de la creme, quote unquote, right? And so they were like, ew.
And you didn't wait in
Ew.
line to have that conversation, by the way.
Absolutely not. Huh?
Of course not.
But I also am they are
You roll with
disarmed
those guys
because
anyway. Yeah.
I'm not, but they also came to my event, right? So like I
Fair.
know them.
Fair,
So
fair,
I'm just
fair.
like, oh hey, how'd it
Yeah.
go?
Mm-hmm.
And they're
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-mm.
so yeah, so
Oh
I
wow.
think that those 3 deterrents definitely keep men outside of being in a crowd, outside of pick any of the other made up stuff on social media. Um,
Mm.
right.
So this is not like find love or pop the balloon in these situations,
No.
right? Like if, this is very much like there is a limited set of available resources and too many people competing for them in these rooms, right? On both sides.
I think it's on
And
both sides, yeah.
so the dynamic of brothers being afraid to approach a group of women, that does play, but at the same time so from a rejection standpoint, nobody wants to be rejected. I get that. But then also, if these brothers do circulate the room and they're networking, right? No harm, they're not hunting, whatever. Maybe some are,
Right.
but they're circulating, then they also run the risk of being perceived as out there, promiscuous, hoish,
Ooh,
for the streets, as it were. And so, okay,
yeah.
so then, and then the third factor, then being just recapping here, that if there is a group of men who are highly desirable, the 3 out of there are who are him. It's a meat market. Like they're taking interviews with a line
An
around the
auction.
block. It's an auction. That's the one.
Yeah,
That's
I would
crazy
dare say
dynamics, yo.
men are not afraid of a thing. I think that
No, we're not, but we don't want to deal with
I would say that men are
rejection.
more cautious, but no, I would just say that men
Yeah,
are more cautious.
sure, sure,
So
sure.
if they've seen thousands of videos of women saying, please don't talk to me, please don't touch me, please don't, please don't, please don't. And now all of a sudden I put you in a room and you look good and you smell nice. And now all of a sudden you're supposed to unhear all of those things. it feels disingenuous.
hmm Or if
Right.
that's been your lived experience, right? Or if you watch your boys go through that and you're like, damn, I ain't gonna be him, right? Like,
Right.
eh,
Exactly.
you're absolutely right. You can't unsee it and you can't live it.
Right.
So okay. So how do you? And I know that you throw tremendous events that are well curated. How do you get? How do you sort of mitigate those dynamics or ensure that there's a more smooth flow and that there's a better dynamic so that right? Because the idea is you put these people in a room and they'll figure it out. Based on what I've seen recently, I'm like, they ain't figuring it out.
I think it's a couple of things, right? So I think that having a dynamic space, one, right?
Mm,
So you can have the dance floor of it all, right? When I was initially single in my 20s, right? It was, we were dancing. The hair was
yeah,
sweat.
they
It
don't
was
dance no
stuck to the
more.
head.
They don't dance no more. They line dance and then go sit down. That's it.
First of all, boots on the ground is him and her, them.
And Tamia, come
All the
on,
things. Right, come on. It's cookout
yeah.
season. But anyway, but like having a dynamic space, right? So having dance
hmm
floor, having multiple places, I think like out in the open in the Sahara, oh, shooting down your kill to prey. It's hard, right? It's hard.
Running
Um,
the gazelles down in the Serengeti.
right,
Yeah, right.
exactly. How many times did the lion miss? Okay.
He was hungry a lot, but when
But
he got
in
it,
all seriousness, yeah, having dynamic spaces, I think also um personally inviting people. And so that is a
hmm
requirement, a
yep,
requirement. Yes, the algorithm's going to do its thing. And yes, I'm a marketer, so I'm going to push the thing strong, however,
far and
right?
wide. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to invite the people. I'm going to invite
hmm
the sexy, right? There will be sexy people in the room, period.
Yeah.
And I think the third
Hope so.
thing,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, for sure. I think the third thing is having a dress code. I know a lot of people hate dress codes, but your ability, my ability to try to get you, even if it's elevated streetwear, to put that shit on
Yeah.
is just going to make for a better experience for everybody. Because if I
True.
come in a cocktail dress and you came in elevated streetwear, there's no way you're walking up to me. You're not, because we're not on this, right? You're not. But
It's
if
not a
we
match.
are, but if we're, but if we're on the same playing field,
Yeah.
then I think it's removing some of those barriers.
I love it. I love it. Mo, I could talk to you for days. And you've got, I feel like we've only scratched the surface here.
I'll come back. It's all good.
Listen, I would love to have you back. It would be an honor to have you back again. I would love for you to share just maybe some parting advice for those, right? And I know you still out here on your journey as well,
I
but
am.
but you've seen a lot. But you've seen a lot. So let me put it a different way. What would you say is the best love advice that you've ever received?
Oh.
And did it actually work?
Now, would that make it the best advice?
I
um,
mean, good advice doesn't necessarily mean it worked for you.
you know what?
You
You're
know what
right.
I'm talking about?
You know what? Let me simmer in that moment. Let me sit in that.
Mm,
The best love advice. I feel like the love advice that I've always received was around protection of self. So it was never about the relationship or showing up in a way that's more vulnerable, but it was always about don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing and that part. Um,
come
oh,
on.
Southern ladies, they'll
I
tell
was
you
about to say that's
that's
so southern.
that's some Southern stuff.
Mm,
Um, but I think TikTok has provided a lot of sort of like different sort of sayings. And I do think that one of the creators that I follow, and I'm blanking on their name, they just said, don't be afraid to lead in. And so like the art of being in a relationship is being vulnerable, right? And so like if you find hesitation in leaning in, that's probably not your person. Or
mm.
you need to have a conversation. And if you're afraid to have that conversation or you don't have a safe space for that conversation, then that's definitely not your person. So yeah.
Jewelry.
Yeah,
Jewelry.
it was
She's leaving y'all with jewels. Let's go. I love
Thank
it.
you,
No,
Josh.
thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you being here.
Of
We're
course.
gonna get you back to your day and time so you can do all the things that you do and curate beautiful experiences and
Do what I
turn
can.
people on to what's going on outside in Philly. So, folks, it's been another episode. If you are single and you're watching this and you have not signed up for early access, I'm going to need you to head over to upfront.love, have your conversation with Langston or Zora, and sign up. Secondly, if you're not following us on IG, TikTok, and God forbid this very platform on YouTube or wherever you're watching this, follow us at Just Be Upfront. We will be bringing more of these conversations back to you soon. Thank you for tuning in. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's get y'all married. Be well, be safe, take care of yourself.
In the heart of the beholder, love is in the heart of the beholder.